So you guys want to know if I'll get back into screen printing. Well, you guys got questions and I've got answers. You guys are watching Ask Stan the Man. How you guys doing? My name is Stan Bates from T-Shirt Side Hustle, and I help you start t-shirt businesses from home or wherever you at. And today I'm going to jump right to the answer to this question right after the intro. Okay, let's jump right into it. Right now, I'm enjoying the beautiful view in Miami, sitting down by the water in this somewhat of a artistic throne here. You guys know I like to just be out and about. So before we jump into the answer to this question, you guys know what you got to do for me. You got to like this video. You got to subscribe. You also got to hit that post notification bell if you haven't already, because I make videos like this all the time. And yes, I mean all the time. So excuse me if I get a little distracted. It's a lot of movement. I'm always trying to be aware of my surroundings. A lot of dog walking and stuff going on. So, but no worries. So, will I ever get back into screen printing? And I think a lot of the stuff that's going on and a lot of the conversation that is going on is getting away from the main topic, okay? And the main topic is you guys, as we all should, do what's best for you, okay? So, but when I first got started screen printing, I've been saying this over and over again, I was actually against the thought of using a heat press because I had the same, I guess, notions to call them about the industry and heat press and iron on that everybody had. And so I went the long route. I had a U-Do. If you guys know what a U-Do is, it's a personal, it's like a box screen print machine, right? And I didn't like it, okay? I had a horrible time using it. I purchased a DIY starter kit from Ryonet. I had a horrible time burning screens. I didn't like it. I mounted that thing to my mom's dryer in the basement. I mounted it to a piece of plywood or a piece of wood, and then I tried to mount it to the dryer in the basement. I had a horrible experience, right? And here I am, I'm trying everything. I got to the point where I was standing in the living room on shirts using a screen that I got my friend who worked at an art school to burn for me. And I was printing shirts like that, ironing them to cure them, washing the screen out in the tub. So I had a long, drawn out start to getting into the industry. And like I said in the story about how I started printing as a whole, I walked into a substitute shop throughout the process of me learning, and the guy there was a substitute teacher of mine. So 2 days later, he fired his printer. I came in the third day, he like, yeah, I fired my printer. He's like, do you want to print? I'm like, I really don't know how. I mean, I have tried and done different things, but like nothing like on this type of equipment. I'm gonna pop the picture up right here of what I was using. And this equipment and stuff is older than me, right? So if you go from using like a U-Do and you just like somebody say, hey, you want to print? And he's like, well, you're a graphic designer, right? Like you should know how I look. You'd be print fine, okay? So from that process of it all, I started screen printing, right? And now that I'm screen printing, I'm working, I'm printing all these jobs. You guys can see all it's massive. First off, we were in the living room of a house that was, it was probably, I guess, 15% operable. Only the room that we were in and the bathroom that we were in were operable, right? And the rest of it was abandoned. I think at one point somebody came through on one of the other rooms or the other doors in the apartment and broke through the wall into the shop. Bananas, right? So at this point, I'm printing, and Straight Outta Compton movie comes out. And then once that movie came out, I started to print black college names on shirts with straight out of HBCU, straight out of Cheney, straight out of Dell State, straight out of all of these different schools. I think I was the first person to do it, right? Just from looking around, I had this epiphany, and this was an idea that I had for like the last 2 years, and I never knew exactly what to do with it. I owned a domain name, I owned all of this stuff. But before I get too far off topic, so in the midst of doing this new business, I purchased a heat press for schools that didn't hit the minimum of like 12 or 20. If somebody hit me and say, hey, can you do my school? I was like, hey, I will do your school. I'll even give you a free shirt if you could get 20 sales on this within the week, and then I'll print them and then I'll get them out in the mail and yours will be free. You don't have to worry about buying it. And if they didn't, or if they got like 4 or 5, I still had to fill the order, because what am I going to refund all of these people? So what I thought the best thing for me to do was I rode up to Philly to get a vinyl cutter. And then next day I went back because they had like scrap vinyl, but they didn't price it. And I'm like, listen, I want to buy all of it. They was like, well, come back tomorrow. Let us see what's in this scrap box from the end of their big rolls, and you can have it. So I'm like, perfect. Boom. I went back the next day. I bought it. So I had bought the Cameo 3. I bought the vinyl, the box of vinyl for like, I said it was like, I guess like it's gonna be like $300. And it was like $275 of scrap vinyl. So this was my start to vinyl. So I started printing or whatever the case is. And in the process, I'm like, yo, why didn't I start this way? Like, why didn't I know about this before? And that's why I teach it. I feel like this is the easiest way to get into the industry. Now, when it comes to getting advice from people and screen printing, you got to understand a few things. The first thing you got to understand is the people in this industry don't want you in this industry. Point blank, period. They don't, a lot of people hit me up saying, it's so hard to find information. This person was supposed to help me, but they never helped me. All of these things that they go through, they don't want you in the industry. But however, once you cross that threshold, you start speaking the language, you start to understand, you start to know a little bit about what you're talking about, you'll find that people are more than happy to help you, right? And I tell people, first and foremost, you can't get mad at a business owner for not telling you their business, right? Like, I'm not, not gonna say me, because I really don't care, right? And this is why I do this whole thing. But as a business, I'm a local business. You come into my shop and ask me how I do what I do. Why would I empower you to be my competition, right? So I said all of that to say, me personally, would I get back into screen print? Would I buy screen print equipment? Yes, I would buy screen print equipment, but I would approach it a lot differently as a YouTuber, right? As a YouTuber, I would buy equipment because it is a great business, right? But I know from years of experience the time-consuming factor that it would be, right? If I get screen print equipment, I have to hire somebody to operate the screen print equipment probably 99% of the time, right? Because in that process of doing it, I know that if I'm the single person running this business, between printing and cleanup and all of this stuff that you got to do, making screens, recoating screens, reclaiming screens, cleaning up the ink after a job, I know how tedious it gets. And I know when you do all of these things, the production work, everything else is gonna suffer in the business, right? And this is where you gotta play to your strengths. If you love production, then you need to partner with somebody that's gonna get out and sell your work, right? If you love sales, why do you wanna be bottled up with production? Me personally, when it comes to getting you guys into the industry, getting you guys rolling and doing different things, I don't care if you love a company, you hate a company, you love a method, you hate a method. Some of the stuff you guys ask me, I have no clue about, right? Like, I get a million questions about which sublimation printer would I have, right? So, or could you convert, rather, not what I have. Which sublimation printer can you convert? I don't know the answers to these questions. The Epson 16 North 458. I got no freaking idea, right? But I bring a guy like Angelo from Cosmos Inc. onto the channel to give you guys information. I view myself as the news reporter for this industry. I have no gripe. I personally understand that every last piece of equipment, every last company, every last service has a place and a reason for it. I don't think anybody is intentionally out here putting out a shitty product, right? So if you think about that as a whole, or as its entirety, I made a video saying why I don't screen print anymore. And the reason I don't screen print anymore is because I value my time, right? I value my time, and I don't want to be in there doing the production process. I much rather just be using Plaston transfers or using companies like Supercolor to just print and press, And in this case, I'm just elaborate on it a little bit more. If you even wanted to make transfers, if you wanted to get into DTF printing, I don't give a shit. I don't even care how the printers or how Supercolor is actually made. But a lot of people out here, they do. And if that's your thing and you want to become a transfer company, by all means. But what I don't want to do is continue to have to buy technology. It seems like question after question after question turns into you spending more money and losing more time. Me personally, I want to get it done as fast as possible. Yeah, the only argument that people have really for me, and once we do this competition of screen print versus heat press, 100 shirts, it's going to shed light on it. There is a point where screen printing becomes more, let me say, not more successful. It's a better option than a heat press. There are certain scenarios where things are better versus other things, right? And I understand that. But the only valid argument that people have, which in my opinion isn't even a valid argument, is that they can turn it around within 2 hours, right? And where you got to order your transfers and you got to wait for it to come in the mail. But how true is that? How true is that when in all actuality, nobody's turning screen print jobs around within 2 days or 2 hours, within 1 day? The fastest turnaround time that is typically had without a rush fee is 5 business days, and that's what Juan from Liberty Graphics is over there. That's what his normal turnaround time is. So if you're saying Stan's gonna have to wait in the mail for some transfers from Top Transfers or any one of these other transfer companies, so if I get it in 2 or 3 days and I'm still delivering it, I printed the 4th day, I delivered on the 5th day, why does your 2 hour, I could possibly do your job in 2 hours? If you're able to put out somebody's job within 2 hours of them placing the order, artwork good or not, you ain't got no business, right? And you want to sit and talk about different things, it makes absolutely no sense. But again, I digress, because all I care about is you guys making your lives better, starting your t-shirt business. People don't want you printing out of your house because you are their competition. And I'm saying forget them, forget their industry standards, forget the things that they say that you need. If you want to go that route, go ahead and buy a Vastech screen print machine, which is my personal favorite, even though they not working with me. And here we go, dropping the name because, you know, Stan only talks about stuff he gets paid to do. No, Stan gets paid because he talks about what he loves. So I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to sum it up for you guys. Would I ever buy screen print equipment? Whatever I get back into screen print, yeah, I actually love to do it, you know, but I would approach it a lot differently. First and foremost, I would build a business around it, as in I would have to hire somebody, or I would use it for educational purposes, because it is a valuable business if that's something that you want to get into. And lastly, I would probably use it to print for myself. You know, I would like to be in a position where I can house screens, which is what I used to do, house some screens from artwork that I wanted to produce possibly for the store, house them, and then when it's time to go print some more and re-up, then I would do that. But again, I can use transfers as well. I don't have a gripe between either way. Right now, I'm outsourcing screen printing. I just did 100 hoodies, front and back prints, outsourced the screen printing to a local guy with an automatic machine. I made less money. I got a screen printed product that wasn't heat pressed for you guys out there, and I delivered the product fine and well. I made a little bit less money, but guess what? I had no time invested into it, right? I shipped them to them. All I had to do was get them picked up and take them to FedEx and ship them off to the customer, right? So these are my thought processes on this whole thing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle. Peace.